You've got a query that's suddenly crawling in production. You pull up PG stat statements, see the runtime, but you're stuck. You don't know asterisk why asterisk it's slow. What plan did it actually use?
Right, because by the time I run explain myself, conditions might have changed.
Exactly. That's where auto-explain comes in. It logs the actual execution plan of queries as they run, so you catch the slow plan in the act. You see what really happened. Auto-explain is a contrib extension that hooks straight into the query executor. Whenever a query runs longer than a threshold you set, it writes the explain output, including actual row counts and timing, straight into the Postgres log. No manual intervention.
So I get the real plan with real numbers, not just estimates.
Exactly. That's huge for spotting misestimates. When the planner thought it'd see 10 rows but actually scanned 10,000, you'll see it right there. You configure it in postgresql. First, add auto-explain to shared preload libraries. That requires a restart, unfortunately. Then set auto-explain.log min duration to your threshold in milliseconds. Say 1000 for queries over a second.
And log analyze is what gives me the actual row counts.
Right. Turn that on and optionally log buffers to see cache hits. The key knob for overhead control is auto-explain sample rate. Set it to something like 0.1 to log only 10% of slow queries. Keeps the impact minimal. Here's what you'll see in the log. The query ran, and auto-explain wrote the plan. Notice the planner estimated 50 rows, but the actual count was 847,293, a significant misestimate that could indicate potential issues with statistics, query planning, or other factors like data distribution. This coincided with a sequential scan instead of an index.
That's a huge gap. So this tells me I probably need better statistics or an index on status.
Exactly. Without auto-explain, you'd just see a slow query in PG stat statements and have to guess. With it, the evidence is sitting right there in the log. No mystery.
You mentioned auto-explain.sample rate earlier. How much overhead does auto-explain actually add?
With log analyze on, there's measurable overhead because it's collecting timing and row counts for every node in the plan. But auto-explain gentpill rate lets you log only a fraction, say 10 or 20%, of the queries that cross your threshold. You still catch representative plans, but the impact on your production workload stays low.
So I can tune the trade-off between visibility and performance.
Exactly. Start conservative, maybe auto-explain, sample rate of 0.1, and a higher threshold like 2 seconds. Then tighten it once you're comfortable with what you're seeing. By the way, my DBA's health check does this for you. It collects explain plans over time, detects plan regressions when a query's plan changed and got slower, and shows you the plan plus samples, takes the manual work out of it. When you're reading the logged plans, focus on a few key signals. Big row misestimates, estimated versus actual are your first clue. Sequential scans where you expected an index, nested loops with huge actual loop counts, sorts or hashes that spilled to disk. All of these point to tuning opportunities.
And the buffer stats show whether data was in cache or had to be read from disk.
Right. High buffer reads versus hits can explain why a query's slow even when the plan looks reasonable. It's just doing a lot of physical I/O. If you want this kind of plan visibility without manually parsing logs, connect your database to my DBA. The free health check collects plans, flags regressions, and ranks your slowest queries with the exact evidence you need to fix them. Head to my dba.dev and get your first report in minutes.
Sounds good. I'll check it out.